Welcome back. With us now is Dr. Erroll Southers, who teaches law enforcement practice and counterterrorism at USC and is the director of the Safe Communities Institute at that university. He was also once with the FBI and an instructor at the Los Angeles Police Academy. So, Mr. Southers, let's talk police reform in Los Angeles. What happened in Minneapolis, could it happen here?
I would like to believe it won't happen here. It could happen anywhere. With all due respect to screening and training, let's face it, Chauvin and his partner had 13 complaints in their history since 2012. Chauvin was involved in 3 shootings since 2006. What's really important about that is his other 7 complaints since 2012, there was no discipline. So, you know, as they say in police work, this is what we call a clue. And I'm not going to vilify the Minneapolis Police Department, but they do have a history of some challenges when it comes to complaints. And so these things can happen. They've had 3,000 complaints in Minneapolis Police Department between the years of 2013 and 2019. 98% resulted in no discipline to those officers. So I think that perhaps it's time for a hard look and a hard review by an independent body of Minneapolis PD to decide, do we have a chronic and systemic problem here, or are we just the victims of a community that is so challenging that these things always happen?
The concern has always been, and we'll hear from Connie Rice, civil rights attorney, in a moment, that it's a lot easier to change the management, but the cultures and practices of a department is far more difficult.
There is a police culture, and I can't deny that. However, as an African-American male, I can certainly tell you, having someone who lives in both worlds, who's, you know, obviously African-American and been in law enforcement, there is often an us versus them mentality that exists. Unfortunately, Conan, there's a warrior mentality that goes with some agencies and some communities, that you're going out there and you're actually going to war each afternoon, as opposed to being protectors of the community. They feel like they're warriors in the community. So you speak to a culture that we are trying to erase. And I think it really is incumbent upon agencies to screen consistently, continually. And when they have problem officers, look, everybody can't do this. Everyone shouldn't do this. And for those who do a great job, for the 98%, 99% of the officers out there who go out every single day and protect and serve in a way that we consider incredibly honorable, let's not forget them. This is a very small minority of officers, but those officers need to be former officers as quickly as possible.
And getting back to police reforms at the LAPD, have they worked?
The LAPD has advanced, but I will say this, obviously it's not a perfect world. There were not perfect human beings, so there is no perfect department. But LAPD was there. But Conan, let me just speak to the broader issue here. The culture only changes when you have leadership. And when Bill Bratton came here and we were under a consent decree and Connie Rice was there certainly looking over their shoulder, we had an influence in terms of legal responsibility to change, and LAPD changed. Many people of the old guard from LAPD left. Bill Bratton brought in a whole different culture. Community policing really meant community policing. The department started to reflect the community that it served, and I think LAPD was there. They've turned a corner. Again, things are going to happen, but I think people may have a better sense of things being adjudicated more fairly than decades ago when we had to go through these things as well.
Dr. Erroll Southers of the Safe Communities Institute at USC, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Up next, civil rights attorney Connie Rice when we return.